Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the Eon Network podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Matt, and this is going to be a very fascinating episode because today's topic is something that a lot of people have been keeping an eye on really over the past couple of years, and I myself have been keeping an eye on this topic as well. We're talking about AI and artificial intelligence, whether or not if people view it as a friendly thing or if it's a foe. Is AI truly good for us, for the human race, or would it perhaps backfire and really bring more bad than good? So I would like to start off by saying, first off, though, I am very surprised with how AI was able to take this entire world by storm. I mean, let's put it in perspective. I mean, personally, I thought AI was going to blow up after 2030, but it's 2024, and I would like to say that we have advanced ourselves so much so with AI that it's absolutely incredible. It is unbelievable the amount of AI tools out there that can be used for necessities and beyond, and there are so many videos and pictures that seem so lifelike but are actually generated by AI. To me, that is probably one of the most impressive things in the world. Now, we all know that eventually this entire world is going to be engulfed in AI, per se. I mean, AI is going to be the dominant factor within the next decade or so. AI is going to be everything. But again, the question is it a friend or a foe? So I would, personally for me, I would hope it would be a friend, just like I'm sure everybody else would be agreeing with this. I would hope that it would be a friend. And I mean, let's talk about this for just a second. I mean, the good things that it can provide. AI can be used for enhancing your education. I mean, you can optimize all the tools out there to make sure that you can enhance your education. You can enhance your intelligence, increase your intelligence immensely, and to try to use AI for the sake of trying to get tasks at hand done, whether if it's school or your job or work, whatever the case may be. You can use AI to really get into the depths of information, so to speak, that will allow you to grow on from there. It's not just education, though. I mean, it could be for many other benefits. For example, it could be personal things, whether if it's entertainment, whether if it's a personal issue that is happening in your life. I mean, people can definitely use AI to try to talk to the AI and try to help them out personally. I mean, it could be a lot of different issues that people could be facing, and they might want to turn to AI to help them out and make some very effective decisions that will help them out from there. It's actually not as bad as people make it out to be. Now, there are some bad, which I'll get to in just a minute, but I truly am excited with how artificial intelligence is going to be taking this entire world over the next couple of decades. And what I mean by taking over, I'm not legitimately talking about AI robots taking over the human race, personally. What I'm mentioning is I just can't wait to see how AI is going to be the dominant factor that people are going to be using. I mean, it's going to be a tool that people are going to utilize, and we have to optimize it to the best of our ability. But what's scary, though, is that there's always going to be people out there that are going to mess things up. Let's be honest. I mean, that right there is a given. It goes without saying. People will use whichever tool and whatever tool at their disposal to do bad in this world for their own advantage. And the number one thing that I'm very afraid of AI is the privacy concern. There's a lot of concern dealing with privacy. I mean, AI can be used to track and analyze personal data. AIs can be used to try to manipulate the audience. AI can actually be used to get someone's voice and to have their physical appearance right on the screen and make it seem as if they're actually legitimately saying what they're saying, even though it's an AI. That right there concerns me. That will scare me immensely, because think about this for just a second. How are we going to differentiate between real life and AI? I mean, again, for the past year, AI has grown exponentially to the point that sometimes when I'm looking at a picture, they claim it's AI, but it looks so realistic that it just looks as if it's legitimate. So when videos upon videos, like Sora, for instance, I'm sure you guys heard of that. Sora is expected to also come out pretty soon. That's where the Sora is going to be a tool. That's going to be a platform out there for a lot of people to kind of input their text and create a video, and it will absolutely instantly create a video based on the text you put. So if, let's say, you wanted to put a video of a flying giraffe, well, it's going to give you a video of a flying giraffe. But the scary thing is it's not going to give you a video that seems, a little off, or it's not going to give you a video that seems unrealistic. The thing about Sora is that it's going to give you a video that actually legitimately makes it look real. So it all goes back to what I just said moments ago. That's the scary part, because how are we supposed to know what's real and what's not? And if someone's going to be framed, I mean, this is all hypothetical. Obviously, it hasn't happened, but I'll tell you one thing. I mean, there could be a lot of people down the road that are going to use AI to go against their enemies, and they're going to use AI to try to frame people. Oh, this person said the N slur, let's just say for an example. That person said the N slur, and I have proof. Here's the video, and it shows the AI version of the person saying the N slur. How are people going to know that's actually an AI? Because it looks so realistic. That is a concern that I have, and that is definitely a concern that a lot of people around the world currently have. That is a very, very scary thought, because people will absolutely use AI for their own advantage, just to create some form of scare or to create some form of drama and just have a Machiavellian mind per se. It's just a scary thing, in my opinion. And that probably, to me, would be one of the biggest concerns with AI. However, another concern, I will say this, is job displacement. The potential for AI to replace human jobs and the implications for the workforce, I mean, that right there, I'll tell you one thing. People are going to be laid off. There's going to be a lot of people over the next couple of years, heading into the next decade. People are going to be laid off from their jobs. You know why? Because AI is going to take over. That's yet another risk. That is yet another concern. I mean, a lot of people obviously have their jobs. They go to work, trying to put food on their table, trying to secure their own family, trying to have a house for their kids, for their wife, and vice versa. So, I mean, people are going to be they're going to be going to work to try to make sure that they have a very, very good lifestyle, to be comfortable. And yet when AI takes over, many of these people are going to lose their jobs. And with the fact that AI is going to be dominating the world, it looks like, it seems that way, then where are these people going to go? I mean, job security now it's funny, because I've heard many stories in the past that a lot of people are always competing against each other about jobs this and jobs that. But in reality, it's now humans versus AI. We're no longer worried about any other person out there that's going to replace us. Now we're worried about legitimate AI robots, AI that has the potential to, again, replace human jobs. In fact, I saw this video. It was a couple of weeks ago, but I'm sure a lot of people out there saw it. There was this robot that was serving customers at a restaurant. And it was actually pretty effective. It wasn't just some bad robot, let's say, that was just messing up orders and spilling things out of the blue. It was a pretty interesting restaurant, I must say. And it was a pretty interesting way of managing things for the store. So again, it's a video out there on the internet that shows robots literally doing the work, passing over the food to the customers and asking if they want anything else and so forth. So that's how they operate within this particular restaurant. And I say restaurant, but I'm sure there's probably a handful of restaurants that are starting to do this. I'm not sure. But all I know is that there is a video out there that you guys can look up and see how people are using robots for work. So this particular restaurant that had people working for them, I would imagine that the people who were once the waitress or waiter were probably let go, because now the robots took over. AI took over. So again, this is a very, very big concern, because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to lose their jobs. And then what's going to happen next? They're going to try to look for more jobs, but as more and more jobs begin to work on AI and hire AI, or not necessarily hire AI, but use AI in that case, there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to suffer. That is a concern. That is a concern that a lot of people have been talking about over the past couple of months. I mean, AI, to me, in my opinion, can be used for the good, but when it begins to take over people's lives, legitimately, as in job-wise, and trying to take over a person's privacy and being able to just pinpoint and analyze someone's personal data, that right there is the scary thought of AI. And you can go both ways. I mean, I would like to think that AI is going to be used for the good, for the positive. But as I stated earlier on in the podcast, every single person out there, um, you're either good or bad. You're either a person that is going to do things for the good and use things for the good, or you're going to be a person out there that's going to be using things for the bad. And there's obviously a lot of people out there who do things for the bad, whether if it's to help themselves, whether if it's to literally torture people because these sickos out there enjoy torment. I'm not sure. Whatever the case may be, there's going to be people out there that will be using AI for all these negative acts. And that right there is the one that scares me the most. As I said, it's not only the privacy, but it's also the job displacement. I think, in my opinion, as we head into the AI world over the next couple of years, I truly think, though, we're going to be seeing an upside down society. Yes, as I said, AI will be used for positive things, but negative, though, could really hurt a lot of people out there. And artificial intelligence overall was viewed as a way to really help humans. But ironically, we might be entering in an age where artificial intelligence, on the other hand, won't be necessarily helping humans anymore, but actually affecting them negatively, impacting the workforce, impacting their lives, impacting their credibility, their families, their own life. That is something that people need to talk about. That is something that a lot of these guys who are creating the AIs, all the developers and all these managers and so forth that are creating these AIs, they have to talk about this. They literally have to do somehow, some way, they have to make something that will perhaps maybe prohibit AI to do this. But the fact is, AI really, it's weird because it almost has a mind of its own. So despite the fact that maybe developers can probably some way block some of these things, there's going to be a way to bypass these blockage, so to speak. So, I mean, I'm telling you, these guys who are out there doing bad in the world, they will do whatever they can under their own power to make sure that they do bad for the sake of whatever it is that they're planning. That's exactly what everybody needs to talk about. So, I mean, again, I think people need to understand that now is the time to be serious about this. And I think a lot of people are having fun with AI, and that's great. But a lot of people need to literally sit down and talk about this, communicate with each other to explain exactly what the bad could be. Because I already told you this, but AI is definitely going to be probably one of the biggest factors coming into this world that will mess up a human's life, a person's life. And that scares me so much so. Now, I am going to say real quick that the future looks bright, though. I mean, again, it goes both ways. It's almost as if I'm talking with both ends of my mouth. But what I'm trying to say is this. I mean, it goes both ways. You can really use AI for the good, but you can also, conversely speaking, use it for the bad. I am one of these people that hope, that pray. I really do pray that when AI becomes a lot bigger than it is now, I hope that these people who will actually use AI will be responsible. These people are going to be caring for others. They're not going to be thinking about themselves. What can I do to help others? That should be the mindset. That should be the frame of mind that a lot of people should have when using AI. What can I do with AI that will help others? So I wish it was like that, but let's be honest. A lot of people are going to be using AI for their own selves. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be using AI to try to destroy someone's life. Maybe there's some sort of rivalry going on between two people and one person decides to use AI to indeed destroy the person's life. So there's just so many takeaways. I mean, there's so many takeaways, seriously. And AI definitely is going to have a lot of leverage. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, of course, they're much smarter than the human mind. I mean, they're going to know everything instantly. Whether if you ask a question, whether if you ask for advice, it's going to give you an answer straight up right then and there. You know, unlike humans, it'll take some time to kind of think this through and to really understand what is the answer, what can you do, what's the better choice. AI, when you implement your whatever question that you're going to be asking, it's going to take within a couple of seconds and boom, you got your answer. So again, AI has the better advantage compared to humans. They have the better leverage compared to humans because of the capabilities that I just mentioned moments ago. So there's a lot of takeaways, as I just said. And everybody, they need to understand, though, that AI is something that people should play around with. And they need to understand that AI is something that should be taken seriously because it's going to take over, if I'm being honest. Probably not within the next couple of years, but within maybe a couple of decades, we're going to be seeing a world that is legitimately AI. And whether if it's cool or not, and I think it's going to be fascinating, I think it's going to be cool, but at the same token, there's going to be all these different conflicts and problems that is quite very concerning to say the least. So I just hope that people honestly take this seriously and to honestly just be responsible with it, because I know there's going to be something that's going to take place sooner or later. In fact, actually, there were reports just I think it was sometime last year that I was hearing that there is this AI, what is it? 11 labs apparently where you can actually take someone's voice and replicate it. And there were some reports that were coming in that people were taking voices of people and literally putting slurs in there and releasing it online and claiming that it was true. So this has already been happening, actually, if we're being honest. This has been already happening, but it's going to get a lot worse down the road whenever there's a lot more platforms out there. I think 11 Labs is the only one that truly can do it perfectly. I know there's other platforms, from what I understand, that you can take a person's voice and replicate it and all that stuff, but 11 Labs, from what I understand, is the best version, the best tool for that. But yeah, there were a lot of people, I mean, especially celebrities, who actually became a victim of that, who became a victim of a false fabricated story that somebody would pull off online because they had a AI with their voice claiming to say the N-word. So I just, that right there gives me goosebumps, because there could be so many other celebrities out there that could be innocent, and yet there's going to be evidence against them. I mean, how would you win that? How would you win that debate? If there's a person, let's say, that has a video that shows you doing something illegal, let's say, and the person truly is innocent, but how would you fight that? How would you fight for your innocence? If you truly think about it, there's just no way. I mean, I'm literally trying to think of a way right now, but I mean, nothing's popping up. And I'm sure there probably will be a way, but at the moment, I cannot think of a way for you to prove your innocence when you are going against a person that might have evidence against you. So I feel sorry for all these people who are going to be affected, negatively impacted. I think everybody who's watching this podcast, and not just everyone who's watching this podcast, but also for a lot of people out there who get the chance to watch other YouTubers and other shows and even some news and briefs and so forth, I really encourage a lot of people out there to stay informed about the AI developments, because, as I said, this is going to be life. This is just how it's going to be, and I truly think a lot of people are going to be very assimilated to that lifestyle. They're going to be very assimilated to the lifestyle, and they are going to be people that can easily just merge with AI within a couple of minutes, hours, whatever the case. I mean, it's not really hard to do. I mean, it's just an AI. I mean, you can definitely use it for a lot of different things. So, I mean, I think one thing that we have to do is definitely try to think of a way to just, again, help people differentiate between what's real and what's not. That's something that I truly think a lot of people should talk about. Developers should have some sort of clever way, maybe a clever way for them to understand how to differentiate between the two. And so forth. I mean, it's just going to be a mess, though, that a lot of people are going to be using AI for whatever it is that they're going to be using it against a person. So, but as I said, there's also good things. And I said it in the beginning of the podcast, how it could be used to try to exemplify a person's work, or whether if it is to try to enhance their education, it can be used for that. But let's be honest, though. Let's be honest. Do you think people, kids nowadays especially, care about their education? Let's be completely honest. For the most part, not a lot of people are into school. They're not into work. They're not into education. They are just wanting to have fun, as they say. So they're wanting to have fun, and they're not going to use AI for their education. They're not going to use AI for good. For the most part, humans are more prone to doing something bad than good, unfortunately. humans are more prone to use whatever it is that they have at their disposal to use it for the purpose of negatively impacting someone. Whether if it's a joke or whether if it's, of course, a prank, but a very harmful prank that will destroy a person's life. Whether if it's that or whether if it's a legitimate hate that somebody has towards someone and will be used to, will use AI to destroy the person's life. The thing is, that's what people are going to be looking into. Because let's be honest, people, again, you can talk about it all day with these people and say, yeah, you can use it for education, but they're going to go, who cares? No one's going to care for education. And another thing, too, going back to the education of the topic, you have to understand, it's also kind of going to be impacting a kid's way of learning, if you think about it. Because no longer are people are going to be, or rather kids in this case, growing up, they're no longer going to be using textbooks. They're no longer going to be researching. They're no longer going to be reading anymore. All they have to do is just pretty much input the question, and then AI is going to spat off. They're going to just spout everything in a way to answer the question, and then whoever is asking the question, they're going to take the information, summarize it, and pretend to be that, hey, I was the one that wrote it. When in reality, they're not going to read anything. They're just going to practically just copy and paste. So it's going to dismantle the education as well. It's going to negatively impact a lot of people out there because they're going to use it for just cheating, or they're going to be using it just so they can get the easy way out of things. They're not going to be researching. They're not going to be doing projects. They're not going to be writing essays. They just have an AI actually legitimately write the essay for them, turn in the project or turn in the work, and boom, you get an A. There's no learning there. At this point in time, you're just copying and pasting, as I said. So that's something that a lot of people should look into as well. I think a lot of people out there need to really start talking about this because AI is increasing rapidly. AI is actually increasing rapidly. It really is. And I think there's just a ton of potential to definitely use it for the good. But I think at this point in time, I kind of do see AI more bad than good. As the title refers to, is artificial intelligence a friend or foe? I think it's more so a foe than it is a friend. Because I truly think, there's an imbalance. There's more negative than positive. There's some positive things that you can list out for AI, sure, but there's also a lot of different takeaways. There's also a lot of different conflicts that can rise with the use of AI. And those conflicts definitely outweigh the good. So that is my major concern. That is a lot of people's concerns, really, with how AI is going to be used and how it's going to be manipulating the world. And you just don't know what's going to come off of it. You have no idea what's going to happen next. Again, we're going to be here for the next couple of years, just seeing it grow. And it's going to be impressive, but at the same time scary. It's going to be impressive with how technology has increased to that point that we can definitely use and rely on AI to help us out. But at the same token, it's going to be frightening because you know what's in store. You know what's going to be happening down the pipeline. You know exactly what's going to be taking place when AI develops to the point that it's really dominant in this world. Well, you all know what's going to be taking place. There's going to be complete mayhem. People are going to be using it for their own liking. And as I said the word responsible earlier in this podcast. Honestly, though, be responsible with it. If anybody out there is going to be using AI, my goodness, just please be responsible with it. It might, yeah, sure. If you're going to do something bad with it, it might give you some form of pleasure for a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds. But is it going to be worth it? Is it going to be worth it if you use AI for the bad? Because honestly, it's not going to be worth it. You're going to forever be known as the person that, well, maybe not known because maybe, again, some people out there might be hiding their tracks and all that stuff. But regardless, you're going to have a conscience. Nonetheless, you're going to have a conscience, and that conscience will begin to haunt you every single day of your life if you use AI to try to destroy a person's life. It's going to be every single night. And I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. If I did something horrible by using AI and I destroyed someone's life because of it, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. So hopefully these people who are planning on doing all these bad things understand that the human mind has a conscience and that it will be willing to haunt you if you decide to do something incredibly bad to the point that it will harm someone and destroy everything about them. So that's something to keep in mind for sure. And another thing too, like I said, the education-wise, I think a lot of people are going to just use that to just get all the answers and that's it. I mean, kids already, even before AI, did not care for school. I mean, for the most part, when I went to school, nobody cared for school. I loved school. I actually thought it was a lot of fun. And I'm sure a lot of people listening to this will go, oh my God, I can't believe it. How can you say that? Well, listen, it was fun learning. It was fun being able to learn things and being able to just commit to work and do all these fun projects. It was fun. I had a great time every single time. I honestly had no problem waking up early in the morning and entering in a class and just listening to the teacher and being able to do work and so on and so forth. I thought it was a lot of fun. But for the most part, people around me did not like it. They wouldn't do their homework. People would always get mad at me for reminding the teacher about the homework from last night. I think there's a meme about that. So every single time I see that meme, you know, that kid that always reminds the teacher of the homework last night, it reminds me of me because that's what I did. Sure, a lot of people weren't happy with me, but it was a good way to, you know, continue to have my grades steady and to continue to bring good grades because that's what work ethic is all about. I provide the best work ethic I can ever provide. So going back to what I said, kids at schools before AI did not like it one bit. Now imagine with AI that it will be there for them to get all the answers. They're not going to learn anything. What's going to be the point? And what's scary about this, if people actually begin to, let's say if they're going to be, who knows, a doctor down the road within 10, 15 years, but they're going to be using AI for everything. They're going to go to college and they're going to use AI to pass tests. What happens whenever they get the chance to do that practically? What happens whenever they get the chance to do that legitimately? Because if they're going to learn just by copy and pasting and just, oh, what's the answer? A? Okay, cool. A? What? B? Okay, cool. They're not going to learn anything, and therefore it's going to affect people in the future as well. Again, a doctor probably is the best example. I wouldn't want a surgeon doing any surgery on me if this particular surgeon used AI to basically pass all his courses throughout high school and college. Because my oh my, if that's going to be the case, then we have a lot more to be concerned about then. We really do. That is something that a lot of people still need to talk about. So, listen, bottom line is I'm going to have my closing thoughts here, and before I even wrap up here tonight, I encourage everybody, though, to just consider both sides and to really understand the effects of it and understand that, again, all it takes is just one simple decision. And you either make the decision to make this world better or the people around you better by using AI, or you use AI and make a decision to make people miserable. And that one decision really will determine how things go. So if you want to live a life where, hey, you're going to be torturous and you're going to be making people, you're going to torment them with AI, then good luck to you, because those are the types of people that are wrong in this world. Anyway, listen, bottom line is, again, artificial intelligence, friend or foe. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I think it's a foe. I truly think, as I said, AI is going to be a lot of fun to see how it's going to develop, and it can be used for good, but I truly think it's a foe to the point that it's going to outweigh the good. The bad will absolutely outweigh the good. And as I said, there's an imbalance between the two. But nonetheless, again, let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Do you truly think AI is going to be more good than bad, or vice versa? Is it going to be more bad than good? Do you view it as a friend? Do you view it as a foe? Let me know down below in the comment section. Please, of course, get the chance to subscribe and stay tuned for next week for podcast episode 4. Very interesting, funny story that I will get the chance to explain for all of you guys next Wednesday. It's a really, really comedic story, but we'll catch you next time, next Wednesday, of course, for the next podcast. Again, for Adrian Matt, this is Eon Network Podcasts. Thanks for joining us.